Hey everyone, Dr. Brent Thierry of Total Spine Health and Injury Center in Maple Grove. And I want to take just a few minutes to talk about the three biggest factors that separate a good chiropractor from a lousy one. So just like any profession, there are good people within that profession and there are not so good people within that profession. And this is really why it's funny to me, but it's also sad when someone tells me that they tried chiropractic and it didn't work for them, or that they had a bad experience at the chiropractor and then they never went back. To me, this is like getting a bad haircut. And then because of that one experience, never getting a haircut again and really writing off an entire profession. So just because you had a bad adjustment or you had a poor experience with a subpar chiropractor doesn't mean you should write off the other doctors out there and really the amazing benefits of chiropractic care. So, in hopes of helping you either avoid a lousy chiropractic experience or renewing your faith in chiropractic, I want to take just a few minutes and we're going to discuss the three biggest factors that separate a great chiropractor from a not so great one. Now, the first thing is a poor consultation and examination. It requires some digging to really uncover why a patient is experiencing pain. So, is the doctor taking the time to do a deep dive into the type of pain you're experiencing? How long have you been suffering from it? Are there any past accidents or injuries that could be playing a role in your pain? What have you done already in an effort to treat your symptoms? How is the pain affecting your day-to-day life? Are they taking the time to perform the necessary tests that should be part of an exam? Are they taking the necessary imaging to see the underlying structure of the spine and help recognize if there are any other complicating factors? It kind of blows my mind that some chiropractors don't take the necessary x-rays that are really needed to get a true understanding of an underlying spinal problem. Because if you don't know where things are at to start, it's impossible to develop an effective treatment plan going forward. Now, the second thing that separates chiropractors is their technique. And this should be obvious, right? What really makes chiropractic unique is that there is a science of what's going on. There's the anatomy and the biology of what's happening, but there's also the application of the treatment itself. So it's one thing to understand how an adjustment should be administered, and it's something completely different to be able to actually deliver on an adjustment, right? It's kind of like understanding how to shoot a basketball. I know that I should have, my elbow in, my eyes up, I should follow through, but just because I understand the steps there doesn't mean that I'm going to be a good basketball player. I'm a chiropractor, I'm not in the NBA right now, right? So now on top of that, there's a large number of different chiropractic techniques within the profession. And to be quite honest, some are they're just better and more effective than others. And it really amazes me that there are chiropractors that really haven't done any additional technique or adjustment work beyond what they were taught in school. And as a result, they then have limited options to address the different problems that come into their office. Some of the most effective adjustments are also the hardest to learn and apply. And at the end of the day, you can either move the bone or you can't. And it's really as simple as that. So we have inadequate consultation and exam procedures, we have inferior technique, and finally, it's the chiropractor with no plan. There's no goals, there's no landmarks, there's no objectives going forward, there's no outline to help take a patient from pain to a place of health, from crisis to a place of optimization. So find a chiropractor that isn't simply going to put a Band-Aid on your injury. Find one that is focused on helping correct the problem long term. As a patient, you should get solid recommendations going forward so that you know and you really have an understanding of the goals of treatment. Healing will take time, and unfortunately, either I think some doctors, they don't recognize this and maybe they don't trust that the body will heal with the proper treatment, or I think they're afraid to provide the necessary recommendations to patients because they're afraid that they might reject those recommendations. And someone who's in pain, someone who's a patient coming in, deserves more than that. So find a chiropractor with stellar exam procedures, advanced adjustment techniques, and honest and upfront treatment recommendations for the best chiropractic experience.